All right, this is a 2022 CRF110. Rode it around my pit bike track, and we have decided to bite the bullet and do all the Pro Comp parts from BBR. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with BBR. They've been in this game for the pit bike forever. So we decided to go with a whole bunch of parts that they're selling as like complete kits, but you still need to order some parts off of it. The front kit will come complete with the wheel, discs. We obviously put on the tire, running the Dunlop MX33s, the axles, the inverted forks that you see, the triple trees, pretty much soup to nuts that you see. The bars you have to order, but pretty much the whole front end comes complete. It also comes complete if you want to come over here, Massimo. The complete brake kit. And then since we're here, we're also doing the full rear single swing arm. I was going to do the other setup that they have, which is probably a good way to go, but since I've already had a fusion for my back, things like that, I figured I might as well go their craziest suspension available, just because I do it for fun. I'm not racing these CRF110s. So we went with their full kit in the back. Each of these kits, I believe, run around $2,000 for the complete front fork set and for the rear set. So it'll come with this, the shock, and some other parts in it. We also ordered the longer chain, the chain guides, different shift lever, foot pegs. The stock CRF foot pegs aren't that great, so it'd be nice having the IMS foot pegs. And then underneath here, you'll see that we went with a tall seat, and then we just went with a whole new graphics kit and plastic. So I'll keep, which is pretty normal for me, I usually keep the original plastic and take that off as soon as I get the bike, and then put on aftermarket plastic. So when I do end up selling the bike, somebody has all the original plastic and everything that's in good shape. Since we're using this in my backyard, I am going to keep the motor and the exhaust stock. You know, that's what's fun about these bikes. You could pretty much carry some really good speed with these bikes already. So we're going to keep all the motor and everything stock. And just for suspension, because we're going to start building up once I'm able to ride again. We're going to build up the pit bike track a little bit bigger. We're also riding the KLX 140. And that has the 170 BBR kit in it, upgraded springs, and shock spring. So that bike actually has been really good. It's sort of funny. You could buy the KLX 140 and just upgrade the BBR shocks, spring, and that will be pretty much what we're doing with this CRF 110. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious to see how this feels compares to the KLX 140. The KLX 140 comes with, you know, stock discs front and back. So it's really a good deal if you're going to want to do this with the CRF 110. You may just want to get the KLX 140. But since there's tons of guys, tons of my friends riding the CRF 110s, I figured I'd build it up. I probably went a little overkill, but again, we'll see how it goes. So far it's been pretty easy for doing the teardown and install of these. The only thing that I ran into with this is this runs different bearings. So we had to pop out the other ones that were in here for the better set that's in here. The BBR rear suspension does not come with a rear disc, and we'll tell you what we're doing to convert that to having a rear disc. You know, putting this much money into this bike, sort of crazy to still use the rear drum brake, even though it works well. We might as well have a rear disc on it. So that is definitely going to get done. So this is where we are on the CRF 110 right now. We have the front forks on, front wheel, everything connected really easy. One question I have, if you guys could help me out, and we probably will have this figured out by the time this video posts. But let me know with this ProComp setup, what size bars you're running. These are CRF highs, and we've seen some of the bikes running a little bit taller. If you look with the front cable, these are little things you just gotta sort of check out. This is for the longer forks with this cable, but if we go a little bit higher, we're gonna need a longer cable and a longer throttle body. Obviously, we could flip this under and run it that way, but it's something that we're sort of curious of. What else? We did get the ProComp rear put on, super easy install. One thing that we did notice, we had to cut the air box, so this ECU point will actually, I believe, one of these will actually get bolted to the rear fender. So we had to cut this right here for this billet piece. So not a big deal. Originally, I was hoping that we wouldn't have to cut anything, but that's really the only thing that we've ran into so far. We are having Motowhips build me a rear wheel for rear disc setup. Right now, we're just gonna throw the rear stock wheel on for now. Brakes work great. We still have to put on the pegs and just finishing this, and we'll be good to go. So we're getting close, so stay tuned for more. You can see that we've come along quite a bit on the bike. Everything's put together. We're still waiting from Motowhips for the rear wheel. We're trying to match the front wheel. Rear disc assembly, and we'll give you more details about that and what we're using for that brake assembly kit. We had to cut the fender a little bit to get this mounted for the reservoir for the rear shock. And yeah, everything's coming along together. Quick question for you guys that have done these long travel kits. We have this, which is a little bit higher than like a CR high bar. And then this bar is usually what you'd put on this bike. And I just don't know if that's the right height, guys. So if you could comment below or message me, I'd greatly appreciate it. We do have a bar coming from BBR that's in between this height and this height. And we'll see what that looks like. And then once we're able to ride the bike, we'll be able to go from there. But let me know in the comments on that, what the right bar height choice should be. And let's see, what else do we do? We did put on the different shifter, foot pegs, the motor and exhaust we're gonna keep stock because we're gonna ride this in my backyard, so we want it as quiet as possible. But so far, it's coming along. We'll keep you posted as we progress once we get the other parts from Motowhips. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, long time coming. Final video for this build. Well, actually, not the final video. We have a surprise for you coming up on another video of this. But hope you enjoy it. This is the 2022 CRF110 with the ProComp front suspension, rear suspension from BBR. BBR has been a great help on this build, and I'm really excited to show you the bike. To start, let's go to the front end. BBR does a complete front end kit. They have a partnership with Card. I believe these are 37 millimeter inverted forks with their wheel by Card. And it comes with everything that you see pretty much here except for the plastic and handlebars. But you get the front wheel without the tire, the axle, everything set up. The triple trees, these triple trees, they did just an amazing job. They're really, really nice. And if you want to come up closer, you can just show a little bit more of the triple trees and everything, how nice and clean they are. You have to order their longer throttle cables, and you have to, these might come with the kit. And we did order, I think it came with a longer, it did come with this full brake kit, but the cable was still too short for us to run this length bars. If you're running the stock bars, the cable that the brake set comes with will work, but we went with their 910 bars. Carson designed these bars after trying tons of different bars. Out of trying a whole bunch of different bars, I like these the most. If you go back in some of our prior videos, and we'll put the link below, We'll show you all the different bar sizes and options that you have that are good for a CRF110 and why we decided to run with these overall. We agree with you, Carson. Great job on the bars. They are a little bit flatter. They are a full length of a full-size motocross bike bar, like, you know, a 250, 450 bike. And we really like that. So you're about 32 inches for width. Height's perfect. So we definitely recommend these bars. The motor and everything on this build, we kept stock. The exhaust is stock, and really just wanted something more comfortable to ride suspension-wise. The stock CRF110, I'm 6 foot, 190, and it will beat you up riding this thing on our pit bike track. So we have another CRF110 with the BBR kit that's below the ProComp stage. And you'll see that in a prior video as well that we did a comparison with. What we have coming up in the near future is, since we haven't ridden this yet, we're gonna get this dialed in for suspension settings, and then we're gonna compare this to the CRF110 with the other option for suspension shock and dampener internals, or fork internals, and ankle for shock, and their other triangle swing arm, and see which one's faster, the pros and cons of each bikes, and then also compare it to a KLX 140, which ultimately this bike sort of turned into, even though it's still a 110 motor, but it finally has disc brakes. So I think it'll be interesting to compare those two. For the rear, what you get with the rear Pro Comp package, you get the full linkage and everything for the swing arm. You get the rear shock, and I think that's about it for that. And then you can use that with the stock wheel, but what we decided to go, since we're sort of going all out already, might as well put a rear disc on it. So we went with the Hans hub, stayed with a 12 rear rim, did the MX33 tire, which is hilarious how small this tire is. I believe we had to go with a KX80 rear caliper, and then they have a different mounting bracket for that and for the master cylinder. And we had to wire the reservoir up here. So through the back, that was the only safe place that we could sort of find it. So we hope that holds well. And then this mount here worked out the best for us. We like this location. You can put it up here as well in the front. But in this build, since we had so much travel, we thought it's just a little bit easier here for us. We still have to do like a mount for the rear brake cable line. Just to pull this back more, we're gonna mount it here. That's what that hole's there for. And so this will just get pulled back a little bit and do that mount. And we still have to swap out these bolts. They're too fat. They hit the chain guide down there. So another thing, shout out to this company. I ordered this on Amazon, and it's been great for, I use it anything from, instead of taking the tanks off and emptying them or trying to do it through the lines, I actually pump fuel out of the gas tanks. This is great for bleeding brakes. It makes it so much easier, you guys. You just attach this, pump this, and sucks it out. Super easy. You could dump it, things like that. So this on Amazon, a great buy for the money. I think it's like, I don't think it's more than $80. So take a look at that as an option if you're working on your brakes a lot or anytime you need to remove fuel, whatever.
Put a link below.
Yes, great idea, Massimo. We'll put a link below for you for it. And even just, you know, when you're cleaning out old fluid in here, you can just use the suction and take the cap off, clean that out. And then for bleeding, it just makes it super easy. But I think we covered everything on the bike, you guys. I think when we do the tests against the other bikes, I think that's where we'll really see it pay off for performance. The bike does sit, the stock CRF110 is 26 inches. This with the BBR foam, which makes this more level, it feels a lot better. You guys, I highly recommend this seat as well. BBR makes it for the CRF110 in black or this color. It comes as a complete seat when they send it to you. Super easy. But it definitely feels better than having the stock. The stock one comes down here and then back up. And this just feels more of like how a real motocross new bike would feel. We did get the pegs from them, gear shift lever from them, just a little bit more quality in the build for what we're gonna be using. You can see their case protector by BBR. Everything that we've gotten from BBR is like, just the quality is just perfect. You know, it's so hard to find companies that are really making high-end pieces that are affordable, and BBR does it really, really well. You gotta love the work that they're putting into these bikes and what their team does. But yeah, that's it. I hope you liked the video. We'll have more coming. Stay tuned in the future. Subscribe for our future videos that are coming for doing the laps and review once we're riding it. I'm ecstatic to ride it. This has been taking me, what do you think, Massimo? It took us 9 months or something from soup to nuts to get here today. And mind you, I have other builds going on, so it's tough. And just stupid shit like this. Like now we're waiting, you know, until I could get to a hardware store to find smaller ones that will not hit. I mean, I could be lazy and I could have kept the chain longer and had this out more so it wouldn't matter, but that's not me. I want it perfect. You know, I want to have these, I don't want this all the way back, and I want to have enough space here anyway. I think the right geometry is having that sort of in the middle instead of all the way back anyway. So, you know, if we're going to do it right, we're going to do it right the first time. So that's the way we're doing it. That's it. Anything else, Massimo, that you think we should include?
This one's wrapped up.
All right, love it. Finally, can't wait to ride it. But anyway, stay tuned for more. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.